Wondrous Destiny. Chapter 4.
The following day, Molly was taken out of Lord Darkshadow's dungeon and taken to the most powerful empress of the known world, the blood-sucking Mosquito Queen. The source of her power is a diamond ring, one of the mystical stones that had fallen from a green comet in Niberia during ancient times. With it, she could harness and summon lightning bolts at her will. Before she had acquired that mystical stone, her ancestors would hunt for blood. Now, her dark-robed sage priests go to all corners of the land and forcibly get sacrifices for blood. Most of that blood goes to her young offspring. Due to her power with the diamond stone, nobody dared to challenge her will. Mushroom Valley was one of the only kingdoms that was still free from her grip. That's thanks to the Bee Queen, who governs there, where Princess Molly is from. From Eerieville, they traveled by horse carriage for about a day and a half, crossing forests, hills, and lakes. It was ironic for Princess Molly to witness the beautiful landscape while being held prisoner herself. There was a sense of freedom due to the fresh air and natural landscape, but also the harsh reality of her hands being tied. The air was clean and smelled like pine trees. Lord Darkshadow and Princess Molly finally arrived at the Mosquito Queen's castle. It sat just at the bottom of the austere mountains. Like Eerieville, it was mostly cloudy there, so it was mostly dark. The fogged mountains could be seen behind the castle. The entrance door had a river with red water flowing around it. Princess Molly could imagine the worst as she finally saw the red river with her very own eyes. They continued on horseback down the castle and went across the rotten, wooden bridge, which was supported by gray bricks standing on the red river itself. As they approached, the enormous castle door opened. They entered on horseback. At the gate, they were met by two mosquito guard soldiers, whom were hovering and guarding the entrance. The top of the entrance door reads, Benedictus Noster Mater. I have a special gift for Her Majesty, said Lord Darkshadow to the soldiers. Wait here, one of the mosquito soldiers responded in a high-pitched voice. His wings made a buzzing sound as he took off. He entered the door, while the other mosquito soldier stayed guarding outside. Soon, a cloaked, hooded figure stepped outside the door. Why do you wish to see the Queen, Lord Darkshadow? Sage, this is Princess Molly of Mushroom Valley, and I have brought her to the Queen. I see, he responded as he analyzed Princess Molly up close, smelling the likes of her, lacing his fingers through her reddish, thick hair. Let me see your teeth, dear, he told Molly as he grabbed her by the chin and opened her mouth. He then smiled. Royalty indeed. Come with me now. Inside the castle, the walls were made of clay bricks that were textured by a dry blood residue, making them brown with a crimson accented color. There were bodies of fresh water all throughout the interior of the castle. Ponds, flowing rivers, fountains. The dew coming from the waters refreshed their lungs. They walked on a wet, slippery clay floor and were led by the sage to a large door past a staircase. As the door opened, light from inside the room blinded them, causing their eyes to squint automatically. They walked towards the inside of the room as they became adapted to this new light. Once inside, they realized the light was being reflected by gold ornaments within the room. At the center of the throne room is the royal throne itself that sits Her Majesty, the powerful Mosquito Queen. Behold the fountains of blood, exclaimed Lord Darkshadow as he extended his right hand towards a fountain sprouting a dense liquid, which was dull and dark red like withering roses. The Mosquito Queen sits on her throne majestically, at least 7 sage priests to her sides, one in front. The diamond ring glows and sits comfortably on the tip of her top left limb. It seems to have a will of its own, as if it were yearning to be electrified by lightning bolts. Her Majesty's smile boasts her lust for power. Although the most powerful mystical stone rests comfortably on her finger, she seeks the other mystical stones and fears them being used against her. That's why she surrounds herself with cloaked, powerful wizards she calls sage priests, who bring her sacrifices to feed her hungry offspring who then grow to become mosquito soldiers and expand her empire. But today, she was being presented with a special gift. Your Highness, this is Princess Molly of Mushroom Valley, said Lord Darkshadow as he bowed. She glanced at the sage who led them there, who nodded in response. "Bring her before me," she exclaimed. Lord Darkshadow pushed the princess as he grabbed her hands, which were tied to her lower back. After a few steps, she stood in front of the Mosquito Queen. The Mosquito Queen was not your average mosquito. In Nigeria, mosquitoes are huge, almost human-sized when they stand up on two limbs. Her Majesty, however, is way taller than that. Monstrous. She stood up in front of Princess Molly, perhaps on purpose to intimidate her. She stood more than twice her size. She was the tallest one there. Taller than the sage, taller than Lord Darkshadow by at least 5 feet. She was very thin, but her wet and slimy body seemed rigid and sturdy. Her limbs had piercing edges as sharp as knives. Her proboscis is long and as sharp as a real needle stretching out from her mouth. As a final act of intimidation, she opened and expanded her wings, making a big swoosh sound. That made Her Majesty look even bigger. Molly felt her stomach turn. She was about to vomit. The swampy stench penetrated throughout the castle, and the Red River flowed inside as well through canals, one of them even reaching Her Majesty's throne room. And now, the Mosquito Queen was standing in front of her, appearing as big as a dragon. Just before she could vomit, the Mosquito Queen spoke to her. "Welcome home. Dear," she began. "You'll be staying here for a while. And the only way you'll return to Mushroom Valley is when the Bee Queen pays her ransom, the ransom of her entire kingdom. Ha ha ha. Believe me, she will do this for you. That's how much she loves you, I'm sure. But when you go back to Mushroom Valley, it will already be under my power. Thanks to you, the known world is now mine." She then glanced at the sage who led them there. "Priest, take her to the dungeon and place her in the secret cell." "As you command, Your Highness," he responded and took her away. "Sir Lord Darkshadow, great job. You will receive a worthy reward and promotion for this. You will now be in command of most of my sages. A battle will come. But first tell me, how did you acquire this precious gift?"